it on? It's not on for me.
I'm being told we're live. Is that true? Okay. Well, let me go. Do you guys see it live? Because I'm not going to start talking until I see it live. You do? So then I guess. Okay, I see that we're live. That's fine, but I don't have it on my phone. So if you want to do it again and get me chat and live, that'd be great.
All right. I got the chat live.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for hanging in there with us. I see y'all in the chat. We're going to get to your questions when we have them. Robbi was just telling us about the 5K, 10K game in Miami. Sounds like that was a special occasion. That is the largest she's ever played, but it's not on the level of the private games that she's playing currently. So the next question, while we're waiting for these questions from the fans to roll in that I have.
I don't have it. I don't have chat. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries.
I don't know why it's not working.
I refreshed my feed page and then that worked.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like that.
Comments are turned off.
Yeah, I see somebody here just type something. Bill O'Reilly a million years ago started screaming, well, we'll do it live. We'll fucking do it live. He was pissed off. That's how I feel right now. I want to do a Bill O'Reilly so bad. Hey, Jimmy Bluffett, I see you in there. Looks like we are. We got it. Let's see. Okay, so we're rolling here. The chat's starting to get rolling. All right. Keep me going, Caitlin, because I'm hot under the collar right now.
I know, poor baby.
Poor baby, right?
Poor baby
so can you gals just start going and let me regenerate my brain? Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, I appreciate you guys out there. Oh, so far, you guys have been kind. The last time we did a live show was with Eric and Batman, and the same shit happened. This was a little worse, but maybe
it's only your second time, Nick. Be kind to yourself. Have a little compassion.
People say you don't get better at things after at least a handful of times, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't true for a lot of things for me, but maybe this will break the barrier.
All right. Hey, I see you guys out there. Josh Macchiello, I see you. How you doing? Era Eliminator, Jimmy Bluffett. All right, we're rolling. We're starting to come in. If you guys have questions for Robbi, for Caitlin, or for me, hit us up, because this is a question and answer live show. It is a follow-up to yesterday's podcast that I dropped. So far, Robbi, that podcast is breaking records. Just in one day, we had like 20,000 views, and it's
very popular.
It's going very, very strong. We got Kiro Loves You in there. How you doing, buddy? People are telling me to calm down. I'll calm down. I'm getting there.
I'll calm down when I'm ready.
I'll calm down when I'm ready.
Here, I'll answer this one.
Do it.
Robbi, why you only do a lie detector test on your own and not one from HCL? So when I did the lie detector test on my own, I was already in Vegas, and it was around the time when Eric Person had kind of suggested or he had posted something on Twitter saying, I'll pay for a lie detector test for you. And so it kind of just became like a topic at that time about might as well just take the lie detector test, because I hadn't been reached out from HCL just yet. I had kind of expected a call from you guys, but again, I didn't realize at the time that the investigation could take up to weeks. I was hoping you would have been done in 1 week. I never realized
Can we get Robbi's mic level up a little bit? People are saying it's lower, so let's get that up, or maybe lean in and whatever.
I mean, I couldn't get any closer.
Yeah, you really couldn't.
Oh, she's up on it.
Yeah, what's that?
She's up on it.
Yeah.
She is up on it. All right.
Okay.
So what do you say to some of the people that talk about that lie detector situation and say that because you did administer it yourself, and there was some blowback about and I know you talked about it, you felt really bad for that guy. Mm-hmm. I have no interest in giving you one anymore. This ship has sailed. But what do you say about that? Would you ever be open to take one from a third party? Because I think person giving you the detector would be weird because he was in the game.
Yeah.
And I even think it would be weird if we gave it to you, because people would think we have a dog in the fight.
Yeah, this feels a little repetitive because I know you said that maybe Joey Ingram could do it.
I know.
I feel like we beat a dead horse. I don't mind doing it. It's just I don't know how much more. I guess I would do it if everybody insisted.
Right.
It's I mean?
I get it.
It is what it is. I don't mind doing it. And again, just to answer that question, I was already in Vegas, and my team just told me to show up to this podcast. You have a lie detector test thingy in the morning, and you just got to go. So I went.
Yeah.
I was told that it's not called lie detector places, whatever they're called. We're the most reputable in Vegas.
Polygraph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're polygraph examiners.
Yeah.
We're the most reputable, and the appointment opened up and I just showed up. It was never for the intention of doing it in replace of when you guys told me that I should or whatnot. But by the time that was even suggested to us, it was kind of loosely suggested. And it had been several weeks since I'd already taken the initial one, and it just felt like a little bit of an elongated process, and it wasn't up to me. My legal team was like, it's unnecessary unless everyone takes it. For whatever reason, I told them I would do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm repeating myself.
Yeah. Well, let me also ask the chat some questions. If you were watch the podcast, there's some people, won't mention his name, that felt that I led you into your answers. I don't remember feeling like that I led you into anything. I asked you questions, you answered them. I think you were very candid, and so I don't know. I mean, everything I asked you was your answers, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were. Yeah. No, they were absolutely. I felt pretty. I did tell you that I don't like looking at myself, so I just heard it a little bit just to make sure that, in case I wouldn't have to repeat myself today. And I have to say that I feel like I answered everything as clean and concise as I possibly could have. I don't think I would have taken anything back as far as what I said.
No, totally. I get it. So before I ask you a couple of these other questions, and anyone who wants to, if you guys see them and you feel like answering them or whatever it is, and by the way, you can ask Caitlin any questions you have. If you have questions for me, I'll be happy to answer. But Robbi, what type of feedback did you get after the podcast dropped? Has it been positive, negative? How do you feel?
Very, very positive.
Positive
feedback.
stuff? Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Yeah,
so
very positive.
We have a question here from Kira Loves You. Question for Robbi. Do you think this whole situation, now that it's all over, is a win for you and your poker career?
It's one of those things, I can't change it. And you did ask me this, Nick, if you could go back and in hindsight, whether you would change anything. I wouldn't. And that's primarily because I have that butterfly effect ideology in life, and I don't want to change something that could consequentially have an effect on some other aspect of my life. So in that regard, I don't think I would do it. Now, do I wish I had done things differently that day? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course I do. I mean, I think maybe if I was given the option to go back in that particular time, not knowing where I am right now, I might have obviously done the very obvious, just admitting to the fact that I thought I had Jack 3 right away at that table. But now looking back at it, and after everything I've been through, I feel like I'm a stronger, different, more resilient person that has a different outlook and approach in life, and the way that I interact with individuals, and my level of forgiveness and my level of acceptation with others, as well as just the ability to conquer through the most difficult shit. Like, I can do it now, and I feel like I've that learning curve was worth it all in the end. And as far as my poker career, I mean, it doesn't hurt. So
yeah. So Andrew Nell asks, Eric, that's my question. Based on tweets the other day, seemed like Robbi would be suing for the money. Is there any truth to that?
So yeah, I know there's been a lot of like the media outlets that have reached out, and even Rounders came on. They're like, we want a title like, will Robbi sue? And so I have only stated to them what I've stated to you, which is that I wrote that text message to Garrett, and if it was completely entirely up to me, I would just want to settle it amicably between him and me outside of the court system. Now, as far as whether he responds or not, there's going to have to be certain moves that are made, and I don't want to lose the respect of those that feel that I should have some type of, fair compromise as to what has been done to me, especially after the conclusion of the investigation. So yeah, there's more parties involved in this that I have to be cognizant of and take into consideration. And I will say that I still have bad taste in my mouth as far as how he's handling things right now. I think I gave him a really fair opportunity to at least give me a response. Mm-hmm.
And he has still just ignored you. You haven't gotten any communication.
11th is when I wrote that, so it's been over a month.
Yeah.
So I think one question that a lot of people have is, like, a lot of the original response was like, oh, I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. Like, money doesn't mean that much to me. We're doing very well in our family. And then they see you selling action for these 1K events, these really small events. And they're like,
sold action for 1K. I don't know where that came from.
You don't know where that came from?
No, it's
okay.
1K. And it was asked of me by Josh Arya. He's like, why aren't you doing it? Even the WPT director, they're like, you need to do that because people, it's a way to increase your fan base and get people.
I think we have to talk louder.
Oh.
Yeah, just a little bit. You got your bedroom voice on.
No, that was, I only did 3 10K buy-ins. That was it. That's the only time I've ever sold auction. So I would love for anybody to show me a 1K that I sold auction to.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know how that rumor got started.
Yeah, I never even heard it, but there you go. Let's see, what else do we got here, guys? Let's see.
Here's a question for you, Nick. Would you ask G-Man back on the show to get his comments, thoughts, post-investigation with Robbi on the show also?
I have asked Garrett if he wanted to come on to the show, and he said that at this point he would rather not and doesn't have anything to add. Would he in the future? I don't know. Would I allow him to? Of course. Would he come on with Robbi? I have no idea. That's a question for him. I have never asked that question. Yeah. But you know, Garrett, of course, is always welcome here. So someone's asking again for this, and let's talk about it. It has nothing to do with Robbi. They're asking, where is Veronica? And is Caitlin the new Veronica? I'm going to answer the question this way. Veronica, as I said before, took a new job. There's a logistics thing. We had a couple things that were no big deal at all, just where we just thought, okay, you know, for the sake of me getting a lot of pods out and the distance between us, there's no beef between Veronica and I. She was a great co-host. Caitlin came in to be interviewed. She co-hosted a couple shows with me that we haven't put out yet, and I'm sure she'll be back. As I talk to Caitlin, I'm keeping this open to be where if I get a guest that wants to come in, I do it solo. If somebody is in town that wants to co-host the show with me, that is not Caitlin, I would have them come in and co-host, and we'd get some other people in here and some other views and some other co-hosts. So I'm going to play it like that. But will Caitlin be back here co-hosting? I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're taking it one show at a time. I haven't signed any contracts or exclusivity agreements or anything. Yeah. So it is a long way away from me. I live in Texas. That's my home base. So I think it's just going to depend the opportunities and what I want from my life and my career moving forward, whether or not I become like a permanent fixture on the show is to be determined. But we have put 4 episodes in the can together that y'all can look forward to watching. We have an episode with Lynn G, and I think we had a very fun conversation with her that people are really going to enjoy. And then Nick and I interviewed each other and had a little Gossip Girl session where we went through a lot of the different poker dramas. We didn't spend a lot of time on the Jack forehand because that's what we're doing here today, but we went over some other stuff as well. So you can look forward to that. But yeah, long-winded answer to say, you know, to be determined, but I'm here this weekend and we got those shows in the can.
Totally. Yeah. So we got we did, like you said, I interviewed you interviewed me, and then we did a show with Lynn, which will be coming out some weeks from now. We did 1 or 2 shows on our own. Like,
I think we did 3, yeah.
So we did a bunch of shows that are in the can. I still have Antonio Esfandiari that's coming out soon. What was the other ones that I told you I had? I can't remember off the top of my head. There was a couple more.
Poker Bunny.
Poker Bunny will be coming out probably next Monday. I got Antonio coming up. We got all the pods Caitlin and I just did. So we got a ton that are in the tank here waiting to come out. You know, so a couple people asked me 2 questions here, but they're on the same lines. Would I allow Garrett to come back on and play? And if I did, would it be that he'd have to give the money back? And I'm just going to answer this just like I answer every time. The money exchange between Garrett and Robbi has had and will never have anything to do with High Stakes Poker Productions. We will not be involved in that. When that conversation happened, Ryan walked away. Robbi confirmed that, didn't want anything to do with it. We do not have players under contract. We do not tell players what to do or what they can't do. We are not allowed to touch money, exchange money as promoters, and we have 0 to do with it. I would not be involved at all with anything to do with Robbi and Garrett in their discussions, mediations, money exchanges, or anything else. I won't be, and whatever. And then the next question is, do I think he should give it back? I think that's between them. And the reason I answer it that way is because I wasn't Garrett in the hand, and I was not Robbi in the hand. And I didn't do, say, and act the way Garrett did, and I didn't do and say the things and act the way Robbi did. It's between both of them, and whether they handle it behind the scenes or in the courts or anything else, or whether it never gets discussed again, that's between you guys. What do you think about that?
I think that's good. And I will say this, the one thing that I'm hanging over when it comes to that, the monies, it'd be one thing if there weren't certain guidelines as to why I gave that money back, and one of which were not met. One specific, very obvious one being, if I give you my money back, will you go in there and finish the stream? Which he did not do. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought that would be very easily understood between him and I. And so again, that was just a conversation between Garrett and I and nobody else. So that's why I sent him a text message, and you weren't included in that text message, Shane.
Thank God.
It's just between me and him.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be included in that. Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Wait, you just said something that I wanted to touch on, and damn it, I read something and I forgot what it was. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Robbi.
Caitlin is a cool chick.
Yeah, it says that there. Yeah.
They like that you clarified why she was here. That is so good.
Someone's asking, why does it matter if Ryan walked away? Robbi already confirmed he was there. The reason why Ryan was there is because we had the controversy. So Ryan out of production had to come down and handle the controversy. Once they started talking about money exchange, Ryan knew that he should not be part of that conversation and walked away because that was between them. And in defense of Garrett, by the way, this is what I was going to say. Garrett did come back to the table, and he was going to honor his word about getting the money back and coming back to play. But in fairness to him, what happened is when Jacob, Rip, found out that you gave the money back, he went ape shit and started yelling, screaming, and then threatening Garrett, I think physically. So is that not the case?
I mean, it doesn't matter. It was a conversation between, and he did step away. He still took the money, though. No, I'm not. Listen, here's the thing. Let me say this. I'm always on the middle. And what I'm saying, I don't want to. You know what? I kind of don't want to do this because here's the deal. Like I think that if ever this is a conversation that does happen, it would happen either in a court of law or it would happen in depositions. Because it's going to be hearsay. He's not here to speak about kind of what happened. We don't have. I mean, it's one of those things. It's just not going to.
I told you can pass on anything, so we can pass on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, doesn't it not make sense to you guys? Like we're sitting here and breaking down. I will say, it's very evident that
they're just asking why Ryan walked away, and my thing was he had to walk away for that, and then Garrett did come back, but then there was a big argument, so he left. Yeah, we can leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious from the stream what kind of goes down, and but I will say that the guidelines were that he comes back and play, which he didn't. It doesn't matter what happened between then and I mean, he wasn't threatened so much that he didn't feel like he could walk away with my chips, right?
Oh yeah, and let's be clear, him walking away, staying, not staying, I'm not advocating for one way or another what he should or shouldn't do. So I get it. That's between you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That one triggered you. We'll make sure we're careful.
No, it's not a trigger. I'm just wondering, like, it's pretty obvious kind of what happened. And I'm waiting. I'm just waiting to see if he texts me back. Hey, Garrett, can you text me back? Hello.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Someone asked
and
Nick,
I will say, like, in my personal experience, both Nick and Ryan take a very hard line about interfering with any exchange of money or being involved in any type of loans or anything like that. They keep that a very firm boundary. So in my mind, that's why Ryan walked away.
That is right. Because we had an exchange, was it verbal or text about, I think I brought it up, or do you remember what I said to you? Like you were going to come play, or you were going to play. I don't remember what it was. Maybe you can refresh me. I don't want to misspeak. And I said to you, I would even take a piece of you and I would like put you in, but I can't.
Yeah.
Because it would be a conflict, me owning the show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So someone's asking, Nick, is viewership numbers up since the incident? Well, during the incident, it went up pretty big. It went up about 30 to 40%, 35%. It's dipped a little bit from there, but it is still up. But I will add to that question that I think I said before on stream that I do not, I wouldn't want this to have happened to get viewership up because too many people's lives got hurt and nobody's personal life or anybody should, I would not trade people getting hurt for viewership. So if I had to If I had it my way, I would prefer that viewership be down and it didn't happen, because I think people and what they go through are more important than that. But that's just me.
A few people in the chat asking if Garrett's welcome back at Hustler, or if you would allow Garrett to go back. I think you've already addressed that in some previous podcasts.
This
but just
is
to
the
reiterate,
answer to that question when it comes to Robbi and Garrett. There has been no decision made because we have not discussed it. We haven't discussed it thoroughly, Ryan and I. Ryan and I both have, and I'm not going to say what it is, but we have a little bit of a difference of opinion on this, which will stay between us and we will work that out. But neither has asked to play again, thank God, because I don't even want that question right now. That very well could happen. But I will say at the end of the day, even though Ryan and I make every single decision together, and we do have veto power if one of us really wants to dig in over the other one, because what we do affects each other, but we stay in our lane. And so when it comes to the business end of it, finances, I'm generally making those decisions. And when it comes to lineups, it's Ryan's choice. So at the end of the day, whether that happens or doesn't happen, it will be Ryan's choice. But I would at the time verbalize what my choice would be, because I know what I think about it. How about this? I'll just say it. I really don't have a problem with either one playing. Okay. So I said I wasn't going to say that. I don't have a problem with it. We haven't discussed it in length, and he would be the determiner of if that ever happened again, because he makes the lineups.
Well, let me ask you this, Robbi. I noticed on your social media not too long ago, you did a poll, where should I play on the stream for the first time?
I wish I kept that poll going a couple of more days. I only did a 1-day poll.
Well, you could do it again. You could redo it. Do you have any plans or any agreements to maybe travel to Texas or live at the bike or
I'm going to play it all. I'm going to play at all of them
Mm-hmm.
at some point. I've been, yes, I will play at all of them. It's just a matter of where I go first, and then kind of when I get back into the grind of that. I know that somebody just asked me, Dana, I believe it was, whether I'll be at PSCA.
Yeah, the Bahamas event.
Yes, I will, like I always do, probably book a flight last minute and book a room last minute. But I have been looking at it, probably the 25Ks and the 10Ks. I will not sell actions, so everybody can just
everyone get off my back.
Hey, Snow Monkey says here, Snow Monkey Gone Wild says, Caitlin is single. Yum.
It's true. I'm very single. You can be interested in me now, but if you try to date me, that'll dissipate quickly.
She likes you to be indifferent and to nag her.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, you guys keep it going while I read some of this stuff here.
Okay, and then I did see something. Now I feel bad. Thank you, Alan. Those are nice comments too.
So another thing I noticed in the 3-hour podcast when I was watching it yesterday, and Nick said he's going to say his piece about this, but I wanted to ask about, you mentioned at one point that people wanted Garrett to take the polygraph because there's a group of people, I don't know how large or how many or who these people are, that believe that they were wrongly cheated by Garrett in the past.
They've reached out to my legal team, and if those people want to come out and say anything, they can.
Okay.
I think they might. I don't know. Couple of other questions regarding my rings. I have a bunch of these horseshoe rings. They're my favorite. This one's black diamonds and platinum. I have another one that's rose gold and white diamonds. And a couple of those. Thank you for addressing that.
One thing I want to say, though, to add to that, like Caitlin said, I was going to say this. Anytime anybody is accused of something that there are no hard facts, just like with Robbi, I feel the same way about Garrett. Just throwing that out there, it sucks, just like it was thrown out there for Robbi if nothing was nefarious with her. And Garrett has defended me before, so I'm going to defend him. I've never seen anything that looks anything close to cheating that he's played on our show. And I could never know for sure, or I'd be an idiot to say that about anybody. Even the same thing with Robbi. I give her the same respect. So just by it coming out there and being said, I just want to make clear that there has never been anything like that. And if I had to throw my hat in the ring, I would defend and say that's never happened. From what I know about him, that's from long time of playing, that's never even been the case. But I still want to just throw that out there because, and I would do that for Robbi. I would do that for any other person that it was said about, because I'm a big advocate about when we put something out there that does just a little bit stick to them, and it's a little stain. So that's why I wanted to give my 2 cents on that. And now let's go back.
And I will say this, just to I won't keep discussing this either, just to kind of conclude that conversation, is that I've said this over and over again. I have no interest in getting together a group of people and going against Garrett. I only have interest in what I am very aware of, which is my immediate interaction with him, and that is the only way I can judge anybody in life. And because of what was done to me, I would never ever want to gather intel to hurt anybody in any regard, because it's not fair. And I think that when you've experienced something like that yourself, you understand how damaging it can be mentally. And I stated this before, I went through that mental trauma already, and I would never impose that on anybody else, having experienced the same thing myself. I hope my mic isn't too low. I'm being told yours is too hot and mine's is too low.
Yeah, mine's perfect. Yours is too high and yours is too low. That's what they keep saying.
Okay, Goldilocks.
So maybe I need to be, has Robbi ever been in any legal trouble in the past? Absolutely not. You can look up my entire criminal record. My last name used to be Hussein, Hussain. You're more than welcome to look it up. I have never been in a jail cell, believe it or not. or sued or whatever it is. Let's see.
Someone's asking here, has your twin sister ever taken any heat for mistaken identity?
Oh yeah, no, we used to be, as a poker person, well, she's so in a different world. She's a mother. She's in the biotech industry still. She got a freaking awesome job offer today. I'm really excited for her. And she's just not dealing with the same people, but she did say that she gets oftentimes people coming up and be like, your sister's a badass. That's really cool. What's going on with her and stuff. But my sister, like, she's like an IDGAF girl. Like, she could give a shit less. Like, she just doesn't give a fuck.
Have you and your sister growing up ever kissed each other's boyfriend without them knowing?
No. What? We've never done that, but we have switched places in our classes, and then like I didn't know where she was sitting and the teacher was like, follow me.
And they caught you?
Yeah, they
nice,
totally
nice,
knew.
nice.
So we've done all that, and I do think that like people are always like, do you guys have telepathic energy? I've called her and been like, are you sad right now? And she's like, yeah, I just got done crying. How did you know? So there's like little things like that do happen because we're identical, that I think are different than it would be with fraternal twins. But yeah, no, I love my sis, but she doesn't. I mean, she just thinks this is like, she's like, are you done? Are you over your phase?
Do y'all still look similar enough that she's being mistaken for you?
She dyes her hair darker than my natural hair color. I dye it lighter than my natural hair color. I am 2 inches almost taller than her, and identical twins can be up to 3 inches apart. We have the exact same voice and the same smile, and it freaks our husbands out for sure. Yeah, it does.
Nick, someone here is asking for an update on Brian, who stole the $15K off Robbi's stack.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know where he is? Is he sitting in a jail cell right now? Or
I haven't heard anything about him in weeks and weeks and weeks because I wasn't a victim and the police do not report to me on updates.
Okay.
But from what I understand, weeks and weeks ago, is he was on the lam. Has not been picked up. But I don't know if that's changed. I have no idea. No clue.
Oh, yeah. Wow. He made a run for it. Supposedly, have you heard about anything from Brian since you were the one that filed the report?
It's so interesting. I was just about to text the detective and ask, but I think he would have been upfront and forthcoming with me if he was arrested, as he was the last time when he said that we've pressed the charges and everything. Yeah, I don't think so. I can text him right now.
Mm-hmm. Are you ever going to be made whole for that $15K, you think?
Oh, I was.
Oh, you were?
I will give credit to Hustler Casino Live that they
Yes. We gave the $15K back because it was our, we didn't have to, but it was our employee. Mm-hmm. We felt it was our obligation morally, and we wrote up something and had them sign that we gave it back. So, and they signed it, and they have the $15K back. Thank God he didn't take $50K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
somebody bringing up DGAF in the infamous seat 2. He hasn't sat in seat 2 for, I think, many, many weeks now in many shows. He's been sitting in other seats, and he's been more than forthcoming on his podcast sessions if you have more questions about him. But I think it's pretty well known that DGAF is a really upstanding guy who's up on the up and up, and just because he had an impressive win rate in his game, I don't think that that's indicative of any nefarious play.
If you're still, not you, I'm saying, but if anyone is still talking about C2, go get a tinfoil hat and go get an antenna and go look for lightning, because it's just stupid. But fine. I don't know. Yeah. And he tries to stay out of there as much as he can because of stupid shit like that. Nick is protecting Garrett too much. Like, what the fuck, from Matthew Ehrlich? Well, Matthew, I don't know. I really don't think so. What I did here was to say that if anyone is saying that Garrett over the years was a cheater, that I would say that I would put my hat in the ring that he would not be. He has often also defended me when a bunch of idiots say stuff like that too. So that's just my take. I also said I couldn't be 100% sure. And if you listen to a lot of my other podcasts, you will hear me say that even though I wasn't in Garrett's shoes, and I can't attest for what I would do, what I wouldn't do, but from a 10,000-foot view, especially after he got out of the situation, we're talking a day later, a week later, a month later, I do not agree with how Garrett handled this situation. And the one time I did talk with Garrett, I told him that. So I do not defend him when I don't agree with something, and I do defend him when I do agree with something or I have my opinion on something. I can't say what I would do right in the heat of it. I know, believed what he thought at the time, and he made some decisions. Maybe digging in after that without total substantial proof might not be what I agree with, or some postings and some different things. But that's Garrett's business, and that's Garrett's decisions, and he will live or die on them. And so I do not defend Garrett at all costs. Actually, to the contrary. And sometimes when I'm not, because he was and is a friend of mine, we weren't like brothers, but I've known him for years. When I don't agree with him, it makes me uncomfortable because I feel like I'm being like not loyal, but I'm not going to just say things I don't believe. And so if you've listened, whatever I said his name was, sorry, that is just, I don't feel that I do that anyways. So, and by the way, DGAF, one of the straightest guys I know, one of the greatest guys. He's a fucking great poker player and a great dude. That's just my opinion. If I had something on him, I would turn him in. This is just all nonsense that was brought by the internet trying to look for shit that wasn't there. Yeah. What else do we have?
There's quite a few. It's moving so fast. I forgot the last question. I don't want to get. Okay. I just missed it. Okay. There's questions about my immediate response after the hand, and I don't know where it is. What was your level of embarrassment right after? I mean, it was intense. I was really shocked at myself that I made such a ridiculous mistake like that. And I was just in a headspace after that. So the shock is associated directly with embarrassment. Absolutely. And I think I would have admitted to it if I wasn't embarrassed. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Robbi goes in depth about that she thought she had a pair of threes and that she had Jack 3 the previous hand and that she was embarrassed in the moment. If you want to hear that in greater detail, that is there on the 3-hour podcast between Nick and Robbi.
It is. Yeah. Someone's asking, do I have a tendency to embellish stories? I will say this, in levels of a high distress, I definitely ramble and ramble and ramble. That is something I really recognize about myself. And maybe there's filler words and word vomit. Absolutely. I'm a very good storyteller. I'm often told to just get to the point. So probably do. Devin K.
Nick, in totality, you don't find the situation at the very least strange? Yeah, I find it all strange. Honestly. That's why we're still talking about it since September 29th. That's why the poker community, had an aneurysm, because that hand made no sense. I find so many things about it strange. But what I don't find is hard evidence, and so we will continue to discuss it. Probably will die down soon, but of course I find it strange. Why do you think it's still a thing? It's the strangest shit I've ever seen.
And I would just turn the questions back on the chat for a second to ask, what sort of answers are we looking for as a collective in the poker community that are going to satisfy us? Do you think that we're ever going to know? Because I don't know that we'll ever fully know. I mean, we can choose to believe who we want to believe. We can go over the evidence over and over again, the different interviews. But at the end of the day, I think each individual is going to have to make up their mind about whether you thought the hand was straight up or not. Yeah. Because Robbi can tell you the same things over and over again till she's blue in the face. But
Yeah. Opinions are free. You're welcome to one. But when it goes farther than that, I don't know what you can do unless you have substantial information either way. Mango Havoc says, Nick, you're growing on me. I think you're pretty thoughtful and well-measured dude. Didn't used to, so kudos. Yeah, sometimes you just got to get to know me, and sometimes when you do, you still feel the same way. Who knows? But thanks, man. I appreciate it.
40 ounce to freedom. I'm going to answer this even though I answered on the podcast. There's a lot of repetitions. Watch my podcast, guys. It's only 3 hours long.
Yeah, you don't have 3 hours? Come on.
Get through it. Oh, great. Now, Robbi, why were you... something about like, why? Okay, how could you be so shocked in the needle G-Man? I was shocked because obviously I thought I was holding Jack 3. I turned over Jack 4. The reason I needled G-Man, and I say this in my podcast, is because he was staring at me. And I thought that it was really an aggressive stare without recognizing at the time that he was looking at me as if I cheated. I just thought he was being an asshole. And so I felt the need to needle him because it was a defense mechanism as to why he's staring me down like that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I got it. Yeah, you did mention that. What else do we got here? Want to tackle? And if you have questions for me, ask. If you have questions for Caitlin, ask. Now's the time. We'll be happy to answer them. At this point, the only thing I care about is knowing what's in Robbi's pocket.
I think they're talking about the day of. Can you guys? Yeah. Because remember there was that whole like little thing.
Yeah. What was that?
Nothing. There was just like a glare.
Oh.
And I thought it was clarified. There was nothing in my pocket that day. It was a Versace tight, and they were just tights.
Yeah.
And
How
if
dumb
you
would
see
you
me
be
get
to
up,
put
you
a
can
contraption
see.
in.
I think that's what they're
pants?
referring to. There's nothing in my pockets right now.
Every time I wear spandex, they ask me, what is that? And I say, what do you think?
Yeah, I saw that one, so I'm thinking that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see here. I don't know what Schultz is saying, but Jimmy Bluffett is definitely reprimanding him.
So we have Dwayne here. I know you addressed this on the longer podcast, but referring to the fact that you looked at your hand for so long, the Jack 4 hand, and people have questions about why you still thought it was Jack 3.
Yeah, I mean, I've also addressed this. So like when I was looking down my hand, you'll see other times that I'm looking down my hand, I'm not registering what the hand is actually saying. I'm looking at the hand, determining what my next move is and what my next bet size is. It's almost like, a way of taking a moment to take a break and internalize what I'm going to do next without actually registering what I'm looking at. And I did mention that in the podcast as well. Watch it. It's probably in 2 hours, 48 minutes in.
Okay.
Were you nervous? Were you nervous to be playing that big that day? I know you said you played the 5K,
I wasn't.
10K game before.
And here's why, I just wasn't. I don't know how to explain it. I just wasn't nervous playing that game. And here, that game, I don't even think I was nervous in that game because that was just that was supposed to be fun. And look, everyone thinks that you're going to lose all that money when you sit at the table. You don't even have to play a hand if you don't want to. You can sit out and have a good time. It doesn't matter. This particular game, I wasn't nervous. But when I got into a big pot, I wasn't nervous to play the game. I was nervous when I got in a big pot and I didn't have shit. You know what I mean?
I guess I have to give you a little extra poke about why you weren't nervous to play that game. I'd be nervous to play that game. That's a very hard lineup.
I've been up against the most recognizable people in the industry that I came from, and I jumped into my industry at a very young age, and I was coached from the bottom up as one of the very few people that are able to be hired out of college and given that level of training. And I cried every single day in my car for about a year, and I learned the really, really hard way, just throwing me into a shark tank to just get in there and get going. And so I had that level of experience of being thrown into the lion's den as one of the very few women in an industry, and feeling very comfortable in that environment. So that's a very familiar space for me.
Was it just exposure over time that gave you a level of comfort being in those high pressure situations as the only woman in the room? Or was there some sort of meditation practice or journaling or any practical skills that you used to overcome those fears and get to where you are today?
It's just experience from my career. I mean, I was doing my job every single day for the last 15 years before I showed up on that stream, and I had only left it in April 1st of 2022.
So just repetition.
Yeah. I mean, I was teaching oncologists what to do with their patients. So it's I'm pretty comfortable in that space.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So Sebastian Creswell says, did Airball really give her 6-figure loan the night before the incident? It's mentioned in G-Man's report, but wondering about its validity.
Nobody gave me a loan the night before. It was determined that morning that Jacob just wanted to by me. And I think I said that on your podcast too. It was a very informal, let me just get.
I think there was something maybe with Jacob he gave chips to or something.
You know what? I think that him and Airball had a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not here, so I don't know the details of it.
I know that Airball was paid back, I guess. I have no idea.
Yeah, someone said
he took the chips.
Redundant.
I never took the chips that night.
This is redundant. Why didn't Robbi just turn her hand over and say, "Oh my God, I didn't have Jack 3," but we already exhausted that. You answered it in the other podcast. Well, a lot of these things are going to be redundant. We knew that, but some people don't have 3 hours. Nick, can you get Mr. Batman and Robbi in the same stream? Okay, whatever. Wait. Okay, I don't know. Da-da-da-da-da.
Someone saying, Caitlin, did you notice that Garrett always has problems with women? Robbi, Poker Bunny, Julie, etc. I hadn't noticed that. I can't really speak to that. More so that Garrett has had problems with other women, that he seems to mostly have problems with women. And
Julie, Robbi, Poker Bunny, I see that.
I don't know. Can you dispute that at all? Has he had like discrepancies or disagreements with men as well?
Yeah, of course. Again, here we go. The people are going to say I'm defending Garrett, but I'm fucking not going to just say shit that isn't true or what I don't think.
You know him better than us.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just like,
that's just part of the
projecting
conversation.
just projecting what they're going to say. No, Garrett's had problems with other men and women in hands, but they're hand related, or they could be etiquette related. He's never had a problem with just women in general. There was something that happened between him and Poker Bunny, but it was something that happened. But I could probably go back if I thought about it and rewind to 20 times I've seen other players and him and things kind of disputing. Did you do that? Oh, why didn't you know? No. So the answer, if I just want to be like concise, is no, not at all. No. I don't really think this. I know people will disagree with me. I don't think this has anything to do with gender. I don't ever think it really did, but because Robbi is a woman and you have that movement out there that sometimes believes that sometimes could be the case, it always just gets brought up. And it's just like...
Yeah, I noticed that was a talking point in the longer podcast. And one of the things that stuck out to me, Robbi, was that you said you had offers to be on some of the top talk shows in the country, but you turned them down because they wanted to go with a misogyny angle that you weren't comfortable with.
Yeah.
Can you name the shows or no?
I mean, Kelly Clarkson and all
Kelly Clarkson? I would have said yes to Kelly Clarkson.
I still might do that. But here's the thing, though. These are women-heavy shows also, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not against it, but it was the primary narrative that they wanted to run on. And at the time, like the investigation was still like a little like hot. But these are opportunities I think I would still do. And I'm going to I know my team, my assistant and stuff, they're all in like the works, and they said, we will give you guys a call back and determine when Robbi's ready to maybe go back on and discuss it, especially now that it's concluded. Cause then I don't have to deal with like the questions of like, it's a different
so more so the producers were kind of pushing this narrative, wanting you to go along with like this wouldn't have happened if you weren't a guy. Like had you called with Jack High correctly as a man, it wouldn't be under scrutiny.
They look at
and we just as poker people, we know that that's just not true. Anybody calling with Jack High there would have been under scrutiny.
Well, right, and also they're looking at statistics and they want to have a conversation about a woman, like taking a really bold move in a very male-dominated industry. I mean, it is the best topic for pop culture. So that was really primarily why they wanted to do that. And I don't know if I felt like explaining poker to a world that doesn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the other. I just wasn't ready. I actually almost did do hers. The others felt too media outlet. I did do Insider Edition right away, but they were really asking. They wanted like the more gimmicky stuff, so it was like easier to address that, which is like my rings and like all the devices, and everyone kind of had a different play on what they wanted to talk about. But when it came to like the woman angle, I was wary about that. I wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'll just answer this because this guy Sean Ayula, if he keeps asking the same question, my head's going to explode. So let me just address it. He keeps saying that Veronica leaving, please address it. She apparently said she would leave if she thinks Ryan and Nick were hiding info. That is not why Veronica and I are not working together. And I would encourage you to ask her yourself. DM her, send her a smoke signal, send her a certified letter, whatever it may be. I hope that addresses it.
And I'll say I wouldn't be here if Veronica left because she thought I spoke to Veronica when I was in Vegas for the win, and she said, no, I got a tech job. I don't have the time to do the podcast and come down and travel anymore. She's a woman in STEM. She's a powerful woman, and she got a really good gig, and she went to go do that. But she gave me her blessing to appear on Nick's show and give it a try. So you can ask her specifically how she feels about these specific issues, but I think to say that she left because she thought Ryan and Nick were hiding something is a little inaccurate. And I'm here asking the tough questions, and I haven't made up my mind on everything either, because I don't think you can know with any certainty with what we have, but I'll just say that.
Yeah. And listen, it's probably well known out there that Veronica during this time, she was looking at hands. She was investigating things. She probably did have questions even about the stream and us. And her and I have even discussed it. She was looking into it just like she did with the Mike Postle stuff. I will say that when you go through this type of thing, meaning myself, there is a level of intensity that gets out there, and there was some intense moments with people that I had, and even Veronica, but not to the point to where, like what this guy's saying. It's just that this was, nobody could really know, and even for Veronica or anyone else, I know she knew in her heart that there's nothing going on with me. I know that. She's told me that a million times and told a million people that. At the same time, I think in respect to any kind of intelligence, you have to leave the door open. And you have to still ask questions, and you still have to, do things. And sometimes those things can be hurtful when you hear that, people are in discords and also doing that. And I'd be the first to admit, but that has nothing to do with the question of why Veronica's not here. Veronica's welcome back here. Matter of fact, I probably should have her back on the show, and we probably should do a show together so everyone would just put that to bed. And please feel free when you bump into her to ask her. So that's the last time I'm going to address it. Brad, I keep seeing you saying that. Yeah, Veronica wanted out. Cool. I don't know. It's whatever. So, okay, let's move on here. Let's see here. Now, if you think Garrett has a high, why call with a jack? If he has ace high, why call with a jack? Well, Robbi did address that. I think, I don't know. This is so redundant.
It is redundant.
Yeah, so redundant.
Some people are like, this is kind of a waste of time because we're repeating ourselves. So I'm wondering, I'm trying to look for the questions that maybe.
Yeah, so go watch the podcast. AOD says Nick Vertucci is my type of guy, 100%. Hey, AOD.
There's some very kind ones. Thank you for the very kind comments.
Nice.
I wish I could read them.
Let's see here.
Someone asking a very technical question. Robbi, what is the range you put Garrett on when he went all in?
Oh, I didn't put him on shit. I was like, you don't have shit. I just know the way he played against me, and I just thought he had draws, and again, ace high.
Yeah. Did you put him on his specific hand or a combo draw?
I even say it. I said you're on a draw or ace high. Mm-hmm. So that's what I had him on. I did not think he had a made hand or a pair.
Mm-hmm. I think and you didn't even really think he had a draw that was as good as king high or queen high. No, I didn't.
I don't even remember. I still didn't think he had a open-ended straight flush draw. That's pretty damn good.
If you could see his exact holdings and you knew the spot, would you still call? Oh my gosh,
are we going to do a test on math?
I don't know.
I think statistically speaking, I was not a favorite to win.
Yeah. This Marts keeps asking me, will I ever interview my dealers? Sammy wanted to come in for an interview, and Lauren and Magic wanted to stay private. So I probably won't do it because it wouldn't be much of an interview if people don't want to answer questions. You guys want to know how much they make. You want to know, things about them. They were especially Lauren, who's very shy, didn't want to do that. So I don't think I'm pushing that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Someone's asking if I play online poker. I do play online poker. I don't know if you don't want to know my screen name. But
are you still working with Faraz Jaka for your coaching?
Yeah, we're buddies. I still am on his team. I will say this. I feel like I'm on several poker sites, and I took the feedback, and this is interesting, of Pat's Poker, if anybody follows him. And that was that, like, learn what you must learn and then do it your own way. Because this whole GTO strategy is becoming very redundant and predictable in a way. Like, look, there's a polarized stance to it. But I sort of thought about that. I'm like, what if I just kind of did it my own way, and then I'm still part of his coaching team? I'm not doing one-on-one with him now, but I usually tend to do that when it's coming close to a really big tournament series.
Okay.
So I will do that for WSOP. I'll probably go back to Froz. He's a wonderful coach.
So it sounds like you really do like study GTO ranges,
stack
sizes when it comes to tournaments, but with cash, you're a little bit more laissez-faire.
Yeah.
Play the man.
I just made the final table
person.
of the Invitational at Commerce Casino last Thursday. I didn't even
Someone asked what's your screen name on poker sites. Do you want to give that?
Give to Shih Tzu. I have 2 Shih Tzu.
2 Shih Tzu?
Tell me that's not the friggin' smartest name. Give 2
Shih Tzu.
One of them's I give 2 Shih Tzu, and the other one's give 2 Shih Tzu.
There you go. That's
I
her
give
name.
2 shits. Get it? Get it? Get it?
If you get in a hand with her,
if you know me,
if she's got Jack High,
I'm on ACR GG Poker when I'm out of town. Let's see what else.
All right, let's see here. Snow Monkey
online.
Gone Wild. He says this is the last time I'm going to ask, and I don't even know what it is yet. So let's see. Did you or did you not see Andy folded 10? Are you going to continue to send Brian to prison to prove your innocence, or will you drop it?
Andy folded 10. So, like, I don't watch the stream back. They'd have to break that hand down.
Yeah, I don't
me.
even know what it means.
Maybe it was an exposed card, or he
Maybe,
folded a little high, and there's a theory.
No,
I don't know. I
don't
haven't heard that
know.
one.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm like, and then what about the Brian thing? Are you going to continue to send Brian to prison to prove your innocence? I mean, that wasn't the purpose of, like, a couple of things. Again, I don't want to repeat myself. I didn't realize Brian's prior history with theft, and I didn't feel that. I felt that by obviously pressing charges, it might do him more good than to let him get away with something he's been doing for a long time. I mean, it's just fair to the industry. Also, it was brought to my attention. It was by a tournament director that made complete sense to me, which is, if you let him get away with this, more people will just keep doing it. It's really detrimental to the entire industry as a whole.
Yeah, people keep asking if I have Garrett on my podcast. Yes, I've asked him if he wanted to come on and say his piece. He wasn't ready to do that. You're probably just tuning in, but that is the case. Let's see here. People keep asking, where's the video footage of Brian taking the chips? They're with the casino. That's a casino tape. They notified me.
And it was the casino that found it, not High Stakes
Productions.
Productions.
Yeah, that's right. It was the casino who was reviewing with us on behalf of us, and they noticed it, and the GM told me about it, and we called the police. So I did see it myself. That is the casino's property. I don't even know if they still have it, but that would never be released. It's part of an investigation, so you'll probably never see that. Will we ever get Mickey back on Hustler? Yeah, he'll be back at some point.
Mickey's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a good podcast you did with him.
Yeah, he pulled out his finger.
Everyone's asking about, like, whether there's an actual video of Brian stealing the chips. Obviously there is, right?
That's how we caught him.
And I think we covered this. He just sat in seat 1 that was open, and I was in seat 2, so it was also obviously a very easy.
Yeah, you were down talking with either Ryan and I or whoever. Your chips were at the table. A couple people were sitting at the table. He was one of them. I think a couple other players were there, and he just palmed 3 chocolates, and it was very clear on tape. How he would do that on tape befuddles me, but sometimes when you're in a jam and you just do things.
And it's on security footage. I don't know that it's on the HCL. Is that accurate?
It's on both, but it was found, because, excuse me. No, we had stopped streaming.
Okay.
We had stopped streaming. It was after the game. So
the High Stakes Production cameras were no longer running and recording. You don't have footage of it. We had stopped
recording, and it was the casino who had that. And one thing I will say is, like, I said this before. I was really candid at first that I was always going to bring everything out. It was really tough to do that. It was really tough to come out the next day or day after and release that, because it really does infringe on an investigation. But I did it, and it was really crazy, because even after doing that, instead of it being not a positive, but at least a positive that we had the right intentions, it became a real negative, and it kicked up so much dust and caused so much grief. But it did happen. We did release it, and it is what it is.
Everyone keeps asking if Beans has paid me back. He owed me $20K. He has not.
He's not paid you back? He's probably in a little bit of a pickle, huh, financially, maybe?
Yeah,
Have you corresponded?
No. Isn't that my fault? Everyone's going to be like,
you've never even asked for it?
I haven't. I actually kind of forgot about it. It would be nice to get $20K back. I could put it towards somebody asked if I'm on PSPC. I am. It'd
Must be nice to not miss $20K.
Well, I also do know he was, I feel that he's in a hard spot, and I know that he's, well, I will give him, look, I have a long ways to go before I die. So as long as he pays it back at some point.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Am I getting book movie deals on this offer like you wouldn't believe? I'm being pulled from several directions from very reputable production companies. I'm kind of just deciding which way to go. And then somebody did ask, like, where's the end of the story? There doesn't seem to be an end. Well, there's two versions of what's been recommended to me. There's a scripted and non-scripted. So we're going to do the documentary side of it 100%. There'll be quite a few on those. And then the scripted version is kind of what's like, it's going to be a little fictional. Let's be real. They have to kind of embellish it a little bit.
Have you, is there like ink dried on any of these contracts? Have you fully agreed to either a documentary, a book, or a fictionalized account?
I've already done 2 documentary interviews that are going to come out.
Okay.
There's a couple that Nick even knows about that we're in the works with.
Are you going to be interviewed for that documentary? You know this one?
I'm sure you will.
Am I going to be interviewed for that? No.
Hey, give Caitlin a call.
Yeah,
She wants in.
Yeah. They said, are you going to monetize any of this, your popularity on OnlyFans?
On OnlyFans. I mean...
That's a question from the chat, not me.
I know. I mean, you know why? Like, I know I was like, let's play naked poker. I have no problem getting naked. Like, I love being, if we were all sitting here completely nude, that would be exciting for me. I'm not kidding. Like, I love being naked. But anyways.
First.
Yeah, let's go in order. You go first.
And here's the thing. Like, I always am like, if the whole world would just walk around naked, we'd eat a lot less Taco Bell. Like, sometimes I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I would. Like, we wouldn't be able to hide. I think our country would be less obese. And so, yeah, look, we were born this way. I don't know why we're so ashamed of our bodies. I've always felt that way. OnlyFans is associated with that, but there is a part of OnlyFans, and I was mentioning this to Nick and during the podcast, that is a business element to it. Kind of like as if you would a YouTube component, but it's just got that stigma associated with it. I do have a team looking into it, and they think that it's a really good idea for me to do it, and I'm probably will disappoint because I will not be completely nude. But I mean, I personally
you just have mind. But you would include like racy photos. I
mean, what's a race, like bikini or something?
Yeah, like
no, like that's an angle I'd have to really think about because it's a completely different direction. Mm-hmm. I think I'm like racy looking enough. Like, I don't know. I think I look a little suggestive already. I don't know. I don't mind. Like, I don't give a shit if that is a symbol.
Well, someone asked in here, do you model, and are there any pictures up of you that they?
I did when I was younger. I did when I was
posted younger. Anywhere?
I do have them around. Like, go look for them. Whatever. I don't know.
No. I mean, posted on social media for them to see.
There was just one that was posted that somebody just did. I don't know. No, just don't do it. I mean, Google it. I Google my name. I have model pictures out there.
There you go.
I do. Yeah, just Google it. I'm in magazines and things. Yeah.
There you go. What else do we got, guys? I'm gonna go. How long have we been
already
going?
Beat me to it. She's talking about the nip slip.
Roughly. 110. We've been going 110. We'll go another little bit here if the questions remain good. Again, if you have any questions for me. By the way, I didn't say this at the beginning because I got rattled because we had to take 2 to get live. But if you like this show, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe right now because it really does help us. So if you're watching, you like this, hit the like button and please subscribe. You'll be notified of all this type of stuff. Sometimes we'll do really quick impromptu live stuff I plan on doing. And if you want to be in the know real time, you got to subscribe and you'll be notified. So please do that. So
one question I have, just a spirit of curiosity, is so you're making the most of a situation. You're in a bad situation, accused of cheating. You're doing book deals. You're doing documentaries. You're trying to make a new career out of it that is more poker centered. Do you think you would have pursued a poker career without the cheating scandal? And was that the plan before the cheating scandal?
The plan was to take a year off and play poker. So I don't know where it would go. I was gonna play at Hustler Casino Live the very next day. So that was kind of unfortunate too. So I don't know where that would have gone. And I was going to delve into as many tournaments as possible as well. So,
but in terms of there being like a media componment to the poker year off, in terms of like
no, I was hoping I would. I was hoping I would gain that through my success. No, not a media component. And I did say this before. Like that Jack 4 thing is going to stick with me. It's a part of me now. Like if I try to get rid of it, it'd be like cutting off my right arm. So I'm milking it for what it is. I mean, I was put in here. It wasn't by choice, and it is what it is. And it's like, and the opportunities that are coming to me are in light of that situation that occurred. And the people that weren't interested in poker that are now interested in it were because of that incident that occurred. So if I was to completely dismiss that happened to me in my life, it would be a complete like disregard for who I am now. Yeah. So I am taking the opportunity. I'm not turning it like as gimmicky as I think others may have. I'm trying to shed some different light to it. And that I just recalled another question I saw in there that I'd forgotten when I was skimming through, which is, are you ashamed of playing Jack 4-0? Like, does it, or like, is it too disgusting when you see it like you can't play it anymore? Quite the opposite, actually. I think it excites people at the table if I play it.
Everybody's playing it.
When you sit down, do people try to do the Jack 4 bounty? I know, like, even at the lodge in Texas, right after this happened, we were playing Jack 4 bounties on our stream.
That's hilarious. So I played a Jack 4-0 game in Malta. It was really fun instead of a 7-2. I just I think I stacked people that night. I just went home with like, I don't know, 15,000 euros or something. And I started off with 1. So that was really fun. It was with the game iGaming people out there. That was good time. So instead of doing that, so I've done that. The other thing is people love to play Jack 4 against me, and I give them props for when they lose. I've said this before. I love it when I lose a hand that I love losing to coolers and shit. I just think it's like badass. I don't mind. I don't mind being a loser player at the table. It is what it is. That's the nature of the game. So I never have hard feelings when I lose a good hand or like if somebody even bluffs me. I think that's pretty rad. But one of the things that people do often do is play that hand against me. And one of the ones that I won't forget was like Martin Jacobson. He won the main event, and it was like a 5K. Was it a freeze out? It was a 5K 6 max. Just happened at the win. And we were right there, almost close to the money. And I guess I didn't have to shove, but I had an open-ended straight flush draw on the flop.
Those are pretty.
And I went all in, and he's the only other person at the table that had me covered. And he had Jack 4 off, and there was a Jack on the table.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And he loved sharing that on social media, and I let him have it. I was like, good hand, screw you, whatever. And my diamond never came, and my king and ace never came.
How has your journey been as a poker player outside from the scandal? Because being a poker player is hard enough. Like, have you been through intense downswings?
Oh, yeah.
Can you speak to the struggle of, making poker the full-time gig or
I think I was like
where you're spending most of your time?
I play Monday and sometimes Thursday games in LA that are pretty heavy. I've been home, I got home once and I was like down 100K. That really sucked. But then I was back up to that much the next time. So that's just kind of the swing component. I think I've been a really not profitable player in the PLO scene, and I probably shouldn't be playing high stakes PLO. I mean, let's be real. So I do want to kind of delve into understanding that. But a lot of these games are 30 minutes PLO, 30 minutes.
Round of each game?
Yes. Okay. No limit. And it's so hard to get up and not play a hand where it's like, let me just give it a go, and then realizing that it probably wasn't a good idea to be in this really big pot when you don't really know how to play the game. So I have a lot of respect for people that play PLO, even though I think it's heavily geared towards more gambling than No Limit is.
Yeah,
I've been playing those cash games, and then on top of that, you've probably seen me in the tournament scene. I've played a lot of the buy-ins for 10Ks, and I've been playing with all my money lately. So I haven't gotten staked for that. And the only time I ever was staked was it Stake Kings? And it was only 30%
for the five diamond 10K event.
Just the 10K. 30% of the action.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot of people say that you sold action for a 1K. So I'm wondering where that rumor even
can anybody put that? Can somebody get on?
Yeah, show us the receipts, y'all, because I definitely have heard a lot of people say that.
I would never do that. Ever.
Someone asked in here, I can't find who it is again because they keep coming so fast. Would I sell Hustler Casino Live for $8 million? No, we got a ways to go. But I'll tell you what, if you got $20 million laying around and you just want to buy me out, we could start talks. But no, not 8. Can't do it.
And how much do you own of HCL?
50.
50, full 50?
Yeah, Ryan and I are partners.
So you think if you went to a company right now to get it evaluated, they'd give you a $40 million evaluation?
No, I don't know. I'm not
okay,
saying, I'm not saying
you're
that.
just being a little
I'm
shit.
just saying I'm just saying, look, man, I run a stream. I love what I do. I play poker. I'm not giving that up for $4 million. Are you crazy? It's not enough. That's all I'm saying.
Brad, I wasn't on Good Morning America. I think that was I wasn't on that. And then, will you play the 10K LAPC main? Yeah, and I want to play the 25K. I probably will play both. Maybe fire a few bullets in the 10K. And I would love to get a photo with you. Anybody that wants to, come to Europe. Be happy to do that as well.
How much longer of a hiatus are you going to take before you? Because you said you're going to play all the live streams. You're going to go to Texas. You're going to go to Florida. You're going to go back to HCL and bike. When are you going to start? When is the what? Yeah, when are you going to go back on stream? Like, do you have a timeline for when you?
I think I'm going to do it when I get back from the Bahamas.
Okay,
yeah, I'll probably get into discussions about where to go. Back from the Bahamas.
Yeah, someone's asking me why I let Ryan block players that want to play, and they use the example of like seeing art play. Listen, I've answered this before. I love art. I would love to see art play. Ryan and I literally have the nuts as a partnership. Like, he has zero business acumen, zero. He would be drawing absolutely dead in the business side of this. He knows that. That's what I do, and that's why we have success on that end. Jeez. With that said, to give him 10 times kudos, Ryan is the best player, lineup, builder, promoter ever to face this earth. He works it 24/7. He knows how to handle all these diva personalities. I would lose. You saw me when I couldn't get the live stream going. I was ready to break this whole. I was going to like pull all the wood off the walls. I was so pissed off. I could not handle even a 16th of what he handles with all the, and he's on his phone 24 hours a day messaging. And Ryan knows how to build a lineup that you out there want to watch. He builds these lineups for a purpose and a reason. So I do not get in the way of his end of the business as the same as he does with me. And that's why we're really, really successful, is our strengths and weaknesses are different. And that's why we're crushing. So that's the answer to that question.
So I saw one really interesting question for Robbi. How would you feel about sitting down with a player who thinks that you cheated?
Yeah, I saw that, Morris. Like, it's been coming over to her. That's a really good question. I have sat down with at that table several times, and I have to say that it was only hard the first time, and it was never difficult again. Because at that very same table, I'll have supporters, and the one or two people, it's amazing what people will do behind a keyboard and are incapable of doing when they're sitting in front of you.
Yeah, Morris, I'm going to answer your question. You've typed it 50,000 times. Morris Dweck. Let's just get it out. Nick, in all honesty, do you see Garrett any differently after this event as opposed to before as far as the integrity as a player or person? Listen, I don't see him any different as integrity. Of course, I see him different in some of the things he did and how he approached this that I don't agree with. So I don't really know how to answer that question. I don't think it's an integrity issue. I think he's standing on principle. I think he dug in, and I think he decided to handle this how he felt he wanted to handle it. All that good that comes from it or bad, he will be the recipient of that, not me. So do I see him differently? Not as a person or a player, or he's got no integrity, but I do see that side of him that I think was a mistake. So I see that in it from a different lens than he would see it. So I hope that answers your question. Stop typing it. What else do we got?
Okay, people are asking if I prefer cash over tournament. I think I kind of addressed this. I love both. I love the immediate gratification of cash, but I think that I am more proud of myself when I do well at a tournament, just because I do have a different level of respect for those players. I think they study the game differently than those that play cash. Yeah. I think cash is really heavily based on your bankroll, and tournament play is really heavily based on skill set.
Nick, here's a question for you. Yeah. Is there any truth to the rumor that Ben Affleck is going to be appearing on HCL?
I have not heard that he is. He's welcome to play. I think that'd be amazing, but that has not crossed my ears.
I haven't heard of him playing and playing high stakes poker in a few years now. I think since he went into treatment, I don't think, and he's been doing better. And with J-Lo, as far as I know, he hasn't been out and about in the scene.
So look at the refried beans question.
Nick, what are some of the hardest challenges that are staring HCL? Did you
just in general?
Already? Yeah.
Is that what he says? What are the hardest challenges?
Yeah.
Well, I would say the things that on a daily basis are challenges is you have two sides of the poker community that are polarized in different things. And we have an incident like Shishimi with her fake breasts, and we take a ton of heat from half the community. Half the community loves it. We make a decision to pull Batman off because we made a business decision. Half the people get it, half the people don't. So I think the biggest challenge, and it's not really like a challenge for our success, the biggest challenge is when you're doing well and when you're at the top, you get attacked. You get attacked by people who either don't understand what you're doing or jealous. So I think that's been like the challenge. Everything else, I mean, of course there's challenges with lineups and procuring them and, the business end of it and this and that. But honestly, nothing challenging to the point where there's just regular business stuff. I think the most challenging thing to me, like someone asked here, do I still have a beef with Berkey? The biggest challenging stuff for me is probably
your beef with Berkey?
No.
They're gonna hug it out soon.
No,
I think they need to hug it out.
It's basically dealing with people like him who have very strong, over-opinionated opinions that attack you or attack your business and stuff like that. So that's probably been the biggest challenge. Do I still have a beef with him? Look, even he posted recently about me thinking I led you on. He just can't. I don't know. He just can't get off. I try to. He can't get off the subject. He can't stop talking about me negatively. Do I have a beef with him? I'm going to say no, because I really don't want to beef with him, and I really don't want to think about him. But it just comes up so often, and I get sent so many things that are going on and said. So do I like him? No, I don't. I don't like how he is. I don't like him. But I don't wish him any harm. I don't. I hope he's successful in his podcast. I really mean that. I hope he's successful in what he does. And like, if you want to call a thing where I never mention your name and you never mention mine, I'd be happy to sign on to it.
A truce.
But he doesn't do that. So like, whatever. Like I have this board here with a poster of shit on him, like he put on me on his podcast, and that sits right next to him that I had for 3 or 4 weeks that I haven't put up. It was going to be in retaliation to his thing, and I just haven't done it because I just don't want to. So
yeah, just to be a devil's advocate here, and because I like Matthew and I think he's a decent man, and I do think that a lot of his probing and insistent and over opinionated opinions or whatnot have to do with the fact that he wanted to make streaming poker safer for everybody. And I think he pointed out a lot of issues in stream security that are going to make streams safer and harder to crack for the long haul. And I think he does deserve credit to that. I know that he personally offended you in ways and crossed lines, and that's a personal matter between y'all. But I don't think that he's just like a villainous character, a bad person. And I think he deserves credit for asking questions and being curious about it and making streams safer.
There's a difference. I agree with you. There's a difference. You can do all that and you cannot be a dick. That's how I think. That's not you saying it, and I know you're making sure he knows you're not part of my statement. I understand, because it's fair. And I do agree with your statement, and everyone should question anything, and he's entitled to his opinion. But once you take your opinion and you stand so high on your soapbox and you start like accusing people of having no integrity because we didn't shut down the stream or do this and that, then it's like, give your opinion and give it. Yeah. And I do think...
And I made fun of him for the shut it down shit.
Yeah, I think
it was intense. It was intense.
If you want things to be better and safer, okay, we're good. Like, I don't have a beef with that. I really don't. And I literally will go, they'll probably talk about this, make fun of me like they do on every show. Not every show, but when they do speak of me, like you brought up the movie thing about you, and they said if the movie comes out, Danny DeVito will play me. So like, there's a lot of shells.
Oh, that one hurt.
No. I'm just saying there's a lot of shells being fired. And I try to absorb them and not say anything. But I'll go on record. If my name is never mentioned there again, I will never mention their name again. And hopefully, maybe I'll just do that anyways. But like,
I don't think that's reasonable, because y'all are the two biggest podcasts in the poker space.
Yeah. Well, then I guess that's just the way it's going to have to happen. I don't know.
Well, okay. HCL should host a meetup game for a Robbi one and a Caitlin one, and etc. But anyways, Caitlin, they're asking you and me what qualities we like in a man.
Oh, you want to go first?
I like a man who loses a hand with dignity.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired.
How about you, Caitlin?
I like men who are kind, smart, and funny. And I think my favorite quality in a man is one that likes me back, though.
Oh my gosh. My favorite. Let's get a lineup for. Let's have a lineup for you, like speed dating with Caitlin.
I'm down.
Somebody asked, like, I missed it. Like, what's my biggest winning session? Off stream 165 plus, on stream like 95. I think was the last one that I'd played. It was plus 95,000.
Someone asked in here earlier, and so let me, if it's okay if I ask you. Someone said you had a beef with, I saw it, and you had a beef with Julie. What was that about? Julie Yorn.
Yeah, that was the one where I like lost my shit. She said something about I was playing at a table with Johnny Chan and her and everybody, and I don't remember what happened. And she had a different misconception of what happened. She thought I was angling or something.
It was something about calling for chips, like you bought in for 5K, yes, and your chips weren't there yet.
They weren't there
you
yet.
Won the pot.
Yes, I played a pot without the chips in play. It was just like, and I don't know what she's. I actually went on that podcast kind of heated because I was told she was like talking shit, and I didn't even know what she was saying. Mm-hmm. So when I went on there, I like went off and lost my shit. I was like several glasses of wine deep, and the very next podcast I went on, I issued my apology because I had to revisit what I had really gotten off to her about. And there's still people saying like, what was her problem with me? I don't think she had a problem with me. I don't.
Did Perkins?
She's a nice lady. I would never.
Did you challenge Perkins to heads up somewhere? Because people are asking.
I did. And then he was an asshole. And when he came back on, I was like, I didn't. And he was like, sorry. I was like, I didn't want to do it. Like it was supposed to, it was a nice challenge. And then even in that very particular podcast, and Tom Don is on it too, I was like, I didn't challenge you to be like an asshole. And Berkey wanted to go heads up with me too, but
Berkey did too?
Yeah, he did.
Kata Sue is asking, is anyone else waiting for those buttons to burst?
Which one, these?
I probably.
Oh, there's no buttons.
I don't know.
Those are keyholes. Those are just cutouts.
Keyholes.
They're cutouts.
Yeah, they're
Robbi, has Sean Deeb apologized?
He didn't really do anything. I mean, like, this is the thing.
I don't even know why I don't even know what.
Yeah, that's just his MO. Like, he's always talking shit. I think he's always got something like brewing in the background, and I think he has just the same outlook on life with everybody, and he's very consistent with his image. I feel like for some reason he doesn't
discriminate.
Yeah, he like doesn't.
He goes
like
hard
once
at
in a while, I'll
everybody.
shoot him a text. I don't know why. It's like he doesn't like rub me off the totally wrong way. I think like everybody thinks I should feel a particular way against him, but I've seen the way he speaks about everybody, and it's just his MO.
Yeah, I get it.
Problem with him.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with Sean either. I actually like him. I've gotten to know him a little bit, but he definitely
Robbi,
has a style.
Do I ever play any satellites on GG? I don't think I've ever played a satellite anywhere. Is that like when you play to get into the tournament, right?
Is this the same Caitlin that was on Brad's vlog a while back? I think you're thinking of Andrew Neme's vlog where we did a challenge where we were going to make $500 as a team, and then we gave away our earnings. That was Andrew Neme's vlog, and yes, that's me.
Okay, this is a tough question to answer, but I'll answer it. The same dude that he's slinging it, Matthew Ehrlich, Nick. How can you not resent Garrett after he attacked the integrity of your stream? Cost you $200,000, but it was only over 100 actually, to clear it up and subject all those personal attacks. Please speak honestly. I do resent it. I don't resent him personally, where I don't dislike him. I still consider him a friend. Do I love the way he handled it and how he handled it and the pressure that put on us? Because he was very adamant about there being something nefarious that happened that would include our stream. And if there was, I would want it to come out and I would be fine with it. But because we don't have hard evidence besides just the fact that that's what he believes, because it was impossible for that call to be made, it does rub me the wrong way. And I don't believe anyone should be accused of anything unless you have hard evidence, no matter how much it looks like it. So that's the best way I could answer that. And people in here keep saying, that I'm defending him or I'm covering his ass. Like, I don't understand how that's possible, because like I'm really being honest about how I feel about it. And whether that's a positive thing about Garrett that I will say, because I will if I believe it, or if it's like this question here, that's what I really do believe. I do feel that way. I don't think it was handled properly. Like, even if you really think that it should have been handled behind the scenes, there has to be evidence before you come out and hard say something about anybody. I believe that, and most people that are out there that are looking at it from a clear lens would believe that. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't talk about it, that we don't investigate it, that we don't look into it, that we don't question it to the umpth degree because it makes no fucking sense at all what happened. Of course not, all that. But you cannot just say somebody did something without total hard facts. You can't have circumstantial opinions, thoughts, and different things and then do that. Now, I know some people do get convicted in court with just a certain amount of abundance, but I don't know how that's going to happen here. That just can't happen. This is a different situation. And I would hope everybody would be treated at that level I'm talking about, including Robbi or even Garrett. Like if someone says to me today, like the Garrett thing, like, hey, so many people have said that. That's hearsay. No names have been given of who those are because Robbi doesn't want to give them, and that's fine. And that is just from the other side. And so when I'm asked, how do I feel about that? I feel that there's never been anything that I've ever heard, saw, or thought about his integrity. And I will stand by his integrity until somebody proves it wrong, factually.
And I think at this point, almost all the big winners on Hustler have been in mudslaying in a little bit. Like all the top earners that have had good luck and successful win and high, impressive, successful win rates on Hustler have been
attacked
for that.
DGAF, me, Garrett, and there's some other people.
And Robbi.
They even went as far as to say during this madness that like the creator game was rigged, and these guys were chip dumping. I mean, people were saying like there's a 20-person ring, like it was ridiculous. People went crazy.
I think it's really hard for the average person to see the amounts of money that are being, won and lost on that show, and to believe that it's, straight up, and that people really want to play poker, $100,000 pots, and be winning and losing millions of dollars. So, but yeah, it's real.
And here's the other thing, like when you're playing that big money, you can't you also have to understand like the swings go both ways. So you're already in a different mindset. It's going to be up as much as it could potentially be down. So if you can't like maneuver out of that and go back to your day job, that is now your life, because it's the only way you're ever going to be like polarizing the really low swings and the high swings. They're asking if you could do a live Joey Ingram impersonation.
Hello, Joey Ingram here. We're live with Robbi Lew. We're going to get into it for a 10-hour investigation. We're very excited to have you here, Robbi.
We're locked in.
We're locked in. Lock in.
That's good. And someone's asking about my gloss. It's Too-Faced. I know it like makes your lips poofier as if I need it, right?
All right. So let's go another 5-10 minutes. We'll take some good questions if we feel they're good. And then we'll wrap this up.
And I love Taco Bell. That's why I use that. Because everyone's like, Robbi hates Taco Bell. I actually love it. That's like my...
What's your order at Taco Bell?
Oh my God. I will always get like the Taco Supreme, like 3 of them, and nachos Bel Grande with extra jalapenos.
Extra jalapenos? Okay.
Taco Bell, I will be happily here to endorse you if you wanted to.
Is that your late night guilty pleasure after you've been eating playing poker?
Yes.
Someone's asking, Nick and Robbi, did you lose any friends over this? I did. You find out, let me tell you something. When you go through something like this and there's a ton of heat on you, there's a pruning season. I found out who really knew me, who really had my back, and who supported me. And I found out who didn't know me, who didn't have my back, and who didn't support me. So although I'm extremely sensitive, and I say that and joke about it, and many people tease me about it, I'm happy that happened, because I don't want people in my life that's how they're going to be when the chips are down. I found out who had my back and who believed in me and who didn't. And it's okay. But, this was a tough situation, and sides were taken and lines were drawn. And, I don't know about you, Robbi, but that's my answer.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't really coming from a poker background. So it's like you were already in there. Yeah. You probably had a lot of poker related friends. So for me, like, obviously my friend base was very supportive. And if anything, I feel like I've gained a lot of friends. And I've found a lot of supporters who are now friends because of the whole incident. I think that like I can probably think of 1 or 2 that I think still hold a level of skepticism. So it's a little bit of an awkward interaction when I'm with them, but it's almost
you can always tell when people.
Yeah, but it's like we don't discuss it, kind of. But it's not a hindrance to our respect level for each other, so to speak.
Someone asked me, would I take the 100K back if Garrett wanted to pay it back because of the problem. Yeah, Zell me. Sure, I'll take $100K from anybody. You want to fire me off 100 ball? Yeah. I'll be happy to take it. So
somebody asked me about UCSB. I was in FT. I was Dirty South 1. All my best friends are from that building, and I am a diehard Gaucho, obviously. So that was the best experience of my life, was being at UCSB.
Raz 7685. Nick, did you pay the $135K back to Robbi? Fuck no. I didn't take the $135K from Robbi, so there'd be no way I'd pay it back. We have nothing to do with those transactions.
Mm-hmm. You just covered the $15K because it was your employee.
My employee at our table.
Is D-Nex going to play anytime soon?
I just did a podcast with him, and he said he will. But he's so set in his ways doing all his stuff there in Vegas, and he's with his new wife he loves, and he doesn't like to travel. But he said he gave me his word that he would get out here at some point. Yeah.
Thank you. Somebody says I look 22. Botox helps.
Well, someone said, Nick, do you see it? I'd love to see a BJ Valenzuela. I'd love to see a documentary of your life or interview. Well, I will tell you, it wasn't totally in depth, but we did a podcast recently where that we haven't put out, that Caitlin interviewed me. But maybe at some point we'll do another one where we make it so, we can come up with all the questions from people that they want to know, and I can outline like my path to being K through 12 educated, starting numerous businesses, and then eventually getting to where I landed, owning and operating the stream. I'd be happy to talk about it at some point.
Yeah, he talks about all that in the interview that we did together. So definitely check out that podcast that's coming out. Yeah. He talks about the real estate academy, all the different
all the stuff people want to talk about that they put on the internet.
Ooh.
And
it's like reverse.
Yeah, someone asked about that in here today. Sure, I'll address it. The internet is a nasty place. It's filled with some truths, and it's filled with a lot of bullshit.
A lot of bullshit.
This isn't a defensive posture. This is just an answer. I was a real estate investor because I went through a real estate training company that I spent close to $70,000 getting my training, and lost a lot of money too because I didn't have the right type of training. So I could have called it a scam, but I pushed through and I figured it out. And then I made millions and millions of dollars in real estate investing. And then at some point in my life, that's complicated of why I did it, but I started my own training company. And I did that for 9 years, I believe, close to 9 years. I had hundreds of thousands of people come through into my events that was nationwide. And some of the tickets were very, very high price for one-on-one trainings, spending 3-4 days with people. And there's a site called the Better Business Bureau. Go there and look it up, and you can think I am that too if you want. And there's maybe 10 or 15 reviews for people that don't have to verify anything. They just have to put whatever they want on there, and someone, can post something like, I took their grandma's money and she never flipped a house. Well, that doesn't cut it. But so that's what it is. And we had outstanding reputation with the FTC, who never bothered us, which really hammers those companies hard. Attorney generals across the nation, not one complaint. And really, those are all the complaints we had, with thousands and thousands. So, people latch on to rhetoric, and that's okay. And, that one does bother me because I did put my heart and soul into that company for 9 years. And because I was a student of the same type of company, and those companies really don't have a great reputation and didn't give me all the support I really needed, I put everything into that company, making sure I did it the right way. So that's the answer to that. I probably won't ever answer that again because it's just like Robbi, like some of these questions are just getting old, but maybe I'll refer people back to this podcast and they can replay it.
Somebody's asking if I think I'm a good player. I think I'm getting much better. And I will say that when I don't feel good about a hand that I play, that I go home and run it through a solver. So I think a lot of poker players do that.
You using Pio?
I actually am a very avid believer of Odin. I am part of Odin Poker Code, advancedpokertraining.com. I actually probably pay too much to all of them, obviously for OzJocko coaching. And Pio, I don't know. I never really got stuck with that for some reason.
I've used Odin before. That's Fedor's software.
Well,
right?
it was his old one. I think he switched to a brand new situation, so I don't know who's covering that. But I like their usability, and I like they have like a little sample thing that you can do. And sometimes I just jump into GTO Wizard because it's so easy to do from your phone.
Oh yeah, great training opportunities on GTO Wizard. I feel like it's taken over the industry in terms of how people prepare.
Yeah, someone's asking me about Jamie LaFay. So let's talk about that right now. She played last night on Max Payne Monday. She put up a really scary tweet about something about cancer being back, and she's done, and like that's it. She's out, bitches, or something. I forget exactly what she said.
It's very dark, very dark.
It was very
language,
dark.
yeah.
I've called her a couple times straight to voicemail. Ryan was texting me earlier that he sent the Gardena police out to where he believes she was staying at the hotel.
Oh,
they could
thank
not
God.
find her. So I don't have any update of her right now. All I know is I'm crossing my fingers she's okay. Obviously, whatever she was doing, she was hurting. So let's all say a prayer. I mean, not right now actively, but say a prayer for her, and let's hope she's okay and wish her the best. So. Yeah.
I met my husband at, I was 23 years old, believe it or not. Met him at the Queen Mary in Long Beach. It was a 4th of July party. And I think I was like really far away from him. And I looked at him, I told my friend, I was like, I'm going to marry that guy one day. So that's our corny friggin' story right there.
Yes, Phil Ivey will be back on our show. We have a relationship with World Poker Tour. We just re-upped our agreement with them for 2 more years. They will be sponsoring our felt and a lot of other things. Part of our agreement is that their ambassadors, like Phil Ivey, will come and play, and so Phil will be back, along with a lot of other big names that they have repped for their company. Why are you smiling? What question is it?
I was just like, I want to sit in a hot tub with Robbi and drink a mimosa. It's like so
You can read it.
Me too, to
Some
be
of them are
honest.
so funny. that sounds really nice right now.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
it's
day.
like kind of chilly out there.
What's Nick's and Robbie's go-to mixed drink? Well, I'm going to put it to you this way, BJ. I do not drink much. I don't have a mixed drink love for anything. People know me and see me, and I'm very, very rarely ever drinking alcohol. No reason. I'm not on the wagon,
Hi,
anything.
Omar.
I just don't. But now, with that said, if I am having a cigar, I will drink some scotch. You had some scotch the other night when we were
Yeah,
playing
you
gin.
gave me the good stuff.
Yeah.
I got a little Lagavulin. He's got some beautiful Macallans and Lefroy's, Glenfiddich. Very impressive.
You drink it
Scotch
like a man,
collection.
neat. I drink it like a
I
bitch
do.
with ice.
That's upsetting.
I know. But I do like a nice scotch once in a while and to catch a good buzz, but I am not a big drinker.
That's funny. My husband's a Macallan ambassador because he's obviously Scottish, so he's head of the Scottish Federation. So I have to drink scotch because I'm supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite mixed drink is probably like a mezcal margarita, extra spicy.
People are asking about Caitlin has a top 10 drink list promise. I don't know what that means, but all I know is she sucked down the guy that I was playing with my cousins, and they got it out, and
like a 4-ounce
Caitlin
pour.
immediately was like, "Ooh, I want some." And so
true.
the pour was like not a normal scotch pour. And this was like expensive shit. Your pour was
Yeah.
like this.
It's like
and
4 ounces.
You drink it like a shot.
I didn't drink it like a shot. I drank it slowly over an hour.
You did. Yeah, you drank it. You drank it right. But
You only
did.
drink twisted teas, they said.
Who, her or
Caitlin
me?
only drinks twisted teas.
No, that's not
not even an
true.
insult, you
No.
guys.
So mixed drinks I like Greyhounds and Salty Dogs, which is vodka, grapefruit.
What's a salty dog?
It's a Greyhound with salt on the rim.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yep.
Any drink sounds good right now.
Dustin Petrie. I am not tiptoeing around Art coming back on the stream. It's Ryan's decision. I love Art. You can come play anytime. Someone also asked earlier, just reminded me, because I had said one time I never want to play on a table or a stream with Nick Airball because of some of his antics and how he like treats people and stuff. And they're asking now, would I? I think I would now. He seemed to got his shit together a little bit. And let me be clear. Nick just texted me yesterday about his dad watching the podcast, and we joked. Nick and I do not have a personal beef. We do not have a personal beef. I like Nick. He's a great supporter of the show. He's a great supporter in a lot of ways, and he's a really good person at his heart. But, you know, there's just some things like I think, who was saying this that I was interviewing recently? Damn it. Oh, it might have been Eric Person. I only play on tables, in games with people that I like. Meaning this, if there is... And I like Nick, but I don't like his antics at the table. And if that tilts me or it upsets me because I believe it's not good for my game and my show, I don't want to sit there, or I don't want to be there with someone else if I actually don't like them, because it affects me. I'm not like, I like to play to win, but at the same time, I'm really having a good time every time I play. And maybe like Eric, like I it's not just about the money for me. It's about a good time. So I'm only sitting somewhere where I'm really comfortable and have a great time. There's been some players, even like on the Friday game, that, I could say it, Ben, blank check Ben, he wants everyone's VPIP to be over 50. Mine is never going to be over 50. So I didn't play on Fridays because it's my business. I'm an owner and we want to accommodate our players, and I will take a seat to accommodate a player or do that. Same with Eric Person. I could never play in his game. If you're not over 40, 50%, they don't want you to play. They want you to play every hand. I won't do that. It's not my style. But
That's my style.
I will allow them to do their thing because we're running a show. So there you go.
I think the last Halo game I played, I was like 98% VPIP. I'm like, that's probably not the way to do it.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm now really thinking about a smoke and a scotch.
Someone's
That sounds
asking,
so
Take it out
fucking
to you.
good right
do
now.
you play
After you
online?
shamed me for my thick pour.
Nick, do you play
God,
online
you
at all?
snorted like half of it.
Stop!
Do you
I
play online?
nursed it. I nursed
What,
it for
Robbi?
hours.
They're asking if you play online.
Okay. This is actually, I can't remember the damn name of the site now. Oh my God. It's not ACR. Shit. I can't remember it. I have a poker site that I can't remember what the name of it is. This is typical shit that I do because I don't play much. But what I did is I opened an account, I put a couple thousand into it, and because I wanted to take reps and do some things and try just fuck around with some things and do some charting stuff and just didn't care if I blasted it off or what, and I put Nitucci on my handle, and somebody said something, and I go, no, it's me. They go, bullshit, it ain't you. I go, it's me. They're like, it's not you. There's no way you're playing 5-10, like, or whatever it was, 2-5, 5-10. I said, no, it's me. So I play sometimes to screw around and to test some things, but generally speaking, I hate online. I love the energy of real poker with people in front of me.
And I will say, anyone that is, everyone's like, I'm playing with you, and they sent me like Robbi Lew playing with them, and it's not me. That's not me. I've never taken my own name and played online. So those are all like fake accounts using my face and name. That might be why they asked, but no, that is not my name. So you can use your own name. You can't. Shouldn't that be not allowed? But like, you'll be sitting next to like Phil Ivey, and you're like, that's not Phil Ivey, but it's like people use that.
Someone asked if I'm moving to LA. No, I'm a Texan. You'll see me as a regular on those Texas streams. I got some upcoming appearances on TCH Live, and then the Lodge stream is rebooting, so you'll see me on Lodge Live as well as Hustler streams in the future as well.
Course,
but I am a native of Texas, and I currently live in Texas.
Robbi, what's your favorite non-premium opening hand? Jack 10 suited, but it's premium a little bit, right? It is to me.
Yeah. Somebody
Jack
said,
10
Nick, I
suited.
asked Billy why you were on Max Payne one time, and he said, owner. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really like a Monday player. I don't really want to capture a seat there. Billy's doing a great thing with Mondays.
I feel like you should play Mondays more because you can play a little looser and like maybe work on
Well,
getting your VPIP up so you can go in
yeah.
the other games.
I mean, I don't think it makes me go in the other games. I'm not. Everyone has a style. No, the reason I don't play there is because Max Payne Monday. Not every player there, but Max Payne Monday is more of a different type of show. It's a 10K cap, which I don't like. I just don't love that. Which is fine. I would still play. But when I played the very first time, there was 3 or 4 players that said, like, why is he playing? Like they're beginner players, and Billy wants to put players on that have a big following or that are this or that, and so I don't push that. If there is a time when he must have told someone owner, it's because I might have said, like one time Veronica was playing when she was here and I wanted to play because we were doing a podcast and it would be fun to troll each other. So I played that time. And then I played one other time recently because Billy texted me because he had 2 cancellations and says, do you want to play? I said, sure, I'll come. So that's it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's fun.
The tweet I put out this morning was just fun, guys. It wasn't like it just my husband was being kind of funny. I thought it was creative. It was no correlation to today whatsoever. And someone's asking if I find Garrett attractive. I do not find Garrett unattractive. I mean, let's be real. That's an obvious answer.
Yeah. He's attractive.
Are you a
What are you gonna do?
Republican?
So do we want to put a limit on like maybe 3 more questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's put a cap on this. Let's do 3 more questions.
I think we should address this. People keep asking about Mike Postel. I have to be honest with you. I didn't even follow that. I wasn't involved in the whole poker world when that was going down. And I remember I remember trying to see what that was all about and just completely losing interest in like the first 5 minutes. So it really kind of maybe shows what I would have done if a situation like mine happened. I think it's a personality thing. If people are more invested in a story such as that, I generally am just not somebody that asks a lot of questions in life.
Well, it's
Probably
two
'cause I don't
completely
wanna be
different
asked them
things,
the
right?
same.
You're being scrutinized over one hand,
Okay.
right? One
Yeah.
hand that people thought, oh, it's very suspicious that she called with Jack High. Mike Postle took this community allegedly, but I mean, there were lawsuits and he was banned. So I think on his story, there was a little bit more, you know, proof that came out that it was not on the up and up. And what people are talking about is that he showed up, I think in Biloxi in Mississippi. He was making a deep run in one of these tournaments and he was caught on camera, and people were questioning whether he had been banned like across the nation in poker, and why is he allowed to play? Should he be allowed to play? The club where he allegedly cheated was, and I'm saying allegedly just to protect myself legally, but it is pretty well known that he was not on the up and up, but he was at Stone's in Central California in Sacramento, and Veronica, that was one of the first things she did in poker, was exposing him because she was a commentator on that show. So she was the first whistleblower to come out and say Mike Postle's not on the up and up, and then that Joey did one of his investigations about it. There were lawsuits, but yeah.
I think it's being brought up because he was seen playing.
Exactly. That was just yesterday or the day
Yeah,
before
I see.
when Poker Twitter found out he was in Mississippi playing.
And this is how out of touch I was at the time when that was happening. Is I heard about it, but I never was online with poker at the time. I was running businesses. I never watched one stream on it. I never saw one hand of it. I didn't know anything that was going on, but just what you hear on the macro view of it. And I remember I was talking to Veronica once about, hey, we should, and this is how naive I was, is we should get Mike on the show, and she about fucking shit her pants on me because of like they have such a thing. But I didn't even know that. I didn't even know at the time and people don't believe this. I don't even think she believed it. I really didn't know at the time, even recently, up until 5-6 months ago, that she was the pivotal person in that.
I didn't either.
I had no idea.
I had no idea.
And I found out the hard way because she almost tore my head off when I didn't give it the magnitude that it should, because she was so vested in it and had so much to do with it. But I really don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
And
people
so
saying
I
I'm
stay
getting
off the subject.
People are saying I'm getting details wrong and incorrect. I don't doubt it. But there's plenty of info out there on Mike Postle that we can refer you to. I'm just trying to
stay
update
off
the
of
chat.
stuff, and I don't mean this towards you. I stay off of stuff that I do not know about.
There's a lot of people asking about that. Like, so we just kind of laid it out. I think Caitlin probably has more experience in that. Again, yeah, it's like coming over and over again. Am I part of the Illuminati?
Are you?
Let's just say I've been asked.
Stop, Robbi. Are you being so for real right now?
Did you do a blood
Are you
sacrifice?
being so for real right now? Oh my god.
There's a lot of Illuminati scams going out there, so everybody be careful. Most of them are
All right,
fake.
so 2 more questions. You guys, which ones do you want to answer? And then we're going to wrap this bitch.
I'll let Robbi choose.
There was one that I had, Caitlin. There's some guy that's trying to date you named Paul. Caitlin, he'd love to take you on a date.
Okay, Paul, find me on Instagram. We'll work it out.
Poker
Are you in
Kardashian.
Texas? Because I can't deal with any more guys in the middle of the country trying to date me. God help you, but I'm not moving to Columbus or Dayton.
Someone asked if I thought Veronica was harsh to me. I do feel that she was. And I noticed I'd blocked her at some point. I don't even know why. Again, it was like such a heightened time in the beginning that I was just like using that button like handing out candy. And then I've unblocked her since then. I don't even recall. I think it was just, it felt like a lot of negative pressure coming on from her, but I don't know her personally. So at that time, so I turned Illuminati down. 5-10 game at the Win. I often play the 10-20 game there, so you can see me there. And who are the official band players from HCL? I don't think you guys band players do. I mean, maybe.
I mean, there's probably some players that probably can't play. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I could probably muster up a few, but I don't want to kick any dust up. And I'm not avoiding a hard question, but honestly, I don't even really know if there's anyone that's banned. So yeah, I don't know.
If I could spend $150K on a car, I'd have a restored Bronco, a vintage Bronco. That's what I'd
Those are
have.
cool.
Aren't those pretty cars?
Yeah, I had
Those
one
are
for a short
cool.
time.
Can I borrow it?
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah. Okay.
All right, one final question, maybe?
One final question, but before we go out, if you like this show, if you like the show in general, and you want to be notified, and you want to help out the show, and you want to do the show a solid, please subscribe right now. Take a second, go do that, and please hit the like button. All those things help and give momentum to a show like this that is on YouTube. So if you like what I do, do it. If you don't. But if you do, please take the time to do that. It just takes an absolute 1 second, and it would be great. I mean, for example, right now we have 3 likes and we have 490 people watching. Like, do we think that's okay? Can we try to get those likes up to about 100 or 2 right now before we go offline as a thank you for doing this bullshit? Seriously. Whatever, you guys. You guys suck. All right, you guys got one more question.
Nick, I can't even help you when you say shit like that.
Wait,
Just
hold
kidding.
on. This is we're like the learning curve over here. I feel like we did a fairly good job, and I'm sorry everyone's like needling me for like looking down at my phone. I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, we're reading the
it's
chat,
moving
guys.
like
Sorry
crazy.
for paying attention to
And I know
you.
that like I'll read a question now. I can't find the question, so like.
All right, one more question, Robbi. You get to pick it, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Oh my! Like I see a Texas toast one for Caitlin. Is that a
That
real
can't be
thing?
the final one, but yeah, we have Texas toast in Texas.
Did you turn out the word? What? Hold on, it's going so fast.
Poker Stiff Nick Vertucci's podcast is the mother fucking coconuts. That's cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you. There's some really nice compliments here. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. And
Thank you for keeping it mostly positive in the chat
Yes.
and about the poker.
It's a good
We
show.
appreciate y'all.
yeah, hey, look, there'll always be those, but like, thanks. Okay, all right, cool. Future plans. I mean, I've said all this, right? Like, what's I'll let you guys pick one last one. I'm like trying to scroll back up because this is a good show. How many of the 500 viewers are Garrett? Ridiculous.
Was everything disclosed in the report? Yes. Yeah, there's everything was disclosed. Made a lot of changes. A lot of good came out of it.
Yeah, if anybody, any of these personal questions about me playing like certain games and meeting, I was thinking about doing like a meet and greet at a bar or something when I'm in Vegas because I know it's like to go out with coffee and stuff. Just reach out to me on Twitter and I'd be happy to do that. I've always said that like my supporters were the ones that were there for me from the very beginning. I'm very happy to connect with you guys on any level.
Yeah. What else?
But I got to get out of here to make my flight.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. All right. So, guys, that's it. We heard live questions answered by Robbi Lew. Caitlin from Texas was here helping me along. She was my strength during the early rough start to the podcast. You kept things together.
Great.
Go,
You did
Caitlin.
great.
Well, I was going to lay on the floor and
Caitlin's
have
the
a
next
fucking nervous
comedy
breakdown.
comedian
stayed
of
upright.
poker.
Okay, good. All right.
Caitlin,
so
you're going to be huge in the world.
I'ma
of
try.
Comedic poker.
that's
Thanks,
it,
Robbi.
baby. Can we do you know how to do my impression before we close?
Listen, I have a history in law enforcement, and if you little fuckers want to take me down, you're gonna have to take all of us down too. Yeah, that's right. I'm Nick Vertucci.
Can you do me?
I'm Robbi Lew. I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth, and money doesn't have value to me. It's really more like Monopoly money.
I gave it back because I just know I'd win it back. All right. This is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci, like Caitlin mentioned. Caitlin from Texas, Robbi Lew. Hope you enjoyed the show. Envy out. All right. That was awesome.
Sweet. I mean, look, you're gonna have, I'm wondering